Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes, get those notifications out, let people know I've gone live. And in the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside, and I smile at myself. I usually come in with a big smile to start the live off. It is in that positivity that we can bite bigger chunks out of the problems, out of the issues, out of the little bit of disagreements, out of those little things that we don't quite understand. We can take that extra step quite often, right? If it feels comfortable, if we're drawn in, I understand. I have 5 seconds to catch your attention when you come across me in your feed, right? So I take full advantage of that, right? Number one, it is in the lessons, because how am I going to be seen and how am I going to be heard unless I take those extra steps, right? Unless I take in those lessons and take them serious, because, right, I do have deficits. I do have limitations. I do have boundaries. And, I have those things that I am still not comfortable in sitting with in my life. And if I had that opportunity to divvy out a few dollars and have some of that work taken care of by somebody else, most definitely I would, because I understand it is important. But each one of us, like I said, we have our limitations. We have handicaps. We have things that we don't quite understand. We have those things that we don't even want to understand. But sometimes we are pushed up against what's uncomfortable. And that's when we take those moments to make some choices for ourselves, because each one of us get to make those choices, right? We talked a little bit about yesterday about how a lot of people are not going in the wrong direction. They're just not going in any direction at all. And it is in our choices. If there was one lesson that I could just stress upon in this experience that I've been having in these past, I don't know, half a dozen years or so, is that where I'm sitting right now is only because of those choices that I've made. Some of those choices I was excited to make. Some of those choices I was a little bit cautious, and yet I made them anyway because I thought it would be something good to experience and to experiment with, that possibly, right? We never know what's good for us. We never quite often know what's good for us until we've had that experience. And that's where we're going with today. If you've not popped into one of my lives before, we are on our 51st word. 51 powerful words that we've been picking randomly on Monday, and we've been working with in a different perspective, a different experience, a different adventure, right? And sometimes those aren't adventures and experiences are not even mine. Sometimes it's a story or an experience or something I've watched on YouTube. Sometimes it's a conversation with a complete stranger. Sometimes it's sitting there as a student, as a spectator, going, holy moly, what is that? Right? But then we get to have that experience, and it's just having new experiences. And this is where I want to go. This word that we got this week was really a doozy, right? It was love. little little uncomfortable for me because I have always been a little bit cautious in the divvying out in that. And yet I have been drawn, I have been coerced, I have been enticed, I have been obsessively, compulsively drawn to it on lots of occasions. Even understanding that at some point, right? This is the way I've always thought, and what you think about is realize. And when I say we all have limitations and we all, right? We all have those problems in our life that have just been always there. And it's in our choices whether or not to put a little bit of effort into overcoming them or put a little bit of cash out there to see if somebody else has that magic wand, that magic word, that magic insight to help us along. I bump into those all the time. So grateful. And these people have no idea the movement I have been making on that great advice, those great insights, and in those great experiences that they're having themselves. So, getting back to this powerful word that we had this week, that we're working with this week, this word love, right? That love for the experience. This is, right? I love new experiences. I love new adventures. And sometimes they come into my life like super quick and super abundantly, right? So much so that I can feel like I'm doing 180s or 90 degrees or 360s daily and on a moment. Hello, Melvin. What's your good cheer? My good cheer is that things are going just great here in my little hamlet. Things are going pretty good on my end too, Melvin. You haven't been around in the past couple of weeks, but my trip is coming up next month. I am going to be off for 2 weeks doing 11 different provincial parks, right? This amazing adventure I put together for myself every September, and every September, right? In the lessons, it makes me a lot more brave and courageous to go bigger and bigger and bigger. And I try to outdo myself, understanding that it is a partnership with myself. It's in that team effort that, right, because all parts of me love this trip every September for the rest of my life, for as long as I could move, or as long as I have some cash that I can divvy out to somebody to push me around in a wheelchair. I will be adventuring. I will be experiencing. Why? Because I love new experiences, even the scary ones, even the ones that make me stretch, right? That make me feel a little bit uncomfortable in what I'm doing, or a little bit uncomfortable in how I'm being perceived, right? Or a little bit uncomfortable because I'm not being perceived at all. Like nobody's getting it. But nobody's getting it only because nobody's talking about it. And so, in order to be seen and to be heard, I need to be seen and to be heard. But my love truly is in the adventure. My my love for life, my love for the experience, and I am grateful because I see a lot of people out there with, right, divvying out. magnificent adventures, vacations, trips, businesses, homes, right? Experiences, and yet that passion and that love for what they're doing isn't really there. It's an experience, but it's not a passion, right? It's being done just for the sake of doing something, right? I used to say, right, just to make being bored fun, right? Just like that pink ice donuts with the sprinkles, right? I compulse, I crave, I love, I enjoy, right? I revel in the pink ice donuts with the sprinkles. But why, right? For that 1 minute of satisfaction of, right, tasting something that most likely is not even real. You know what I mean? It's a zero food. But because I compulse about it, because I think about it, because I was denied it, and now, right, I'm in a position where I can go off and buy my own pink ice donut, right? That I can treat myself, that I matter, that I can have those kinds of experiences by my own choice. But there are consequences in that, isn't there? I can't have pink ice donuts every single day. Otherwise, I would get super big. My teeth would fall out. I would probably get pimples, right? My blood sugars will spike. I'll get those sugar crashes that'll make it so, right? That energy won't be there to have those amazing experiences that I love so much. But that pink ice donut is only being experienced because in the moment of boredom, that moment of, right? It makes being bored fun because I'm reaching towards something that's, right? Pink ice donuts, sprinkles, bright and colorful and tasty and childlike and fun, right? It's why we delve into those things that are not good for us because it takes us away from the things that, right, that we don't want to be doing, that make us stretch, that are uncomfortable, right? I would love to be sitting on the couch with the remote control, right? Watching TV all day. I don't even have a TV. I don't even have a couch in all honesty. And yet this is the way I've designed my life, right? I designed my life by my own choices, right? The little bit of movement that I'm making are by my own choices. Those goals that I set are, right, by my own choices. And I become the evidence of what choices can do for us in our own lives, right? In the betterment of our lives. Because lots of people out there, right? They, like I said, they could do whatever they want. The things that I work all year to be able to go off and do this trip every September for 2 weeks, right? That might be pocket change for somebody else, right? For me, it's absolutely everything. So I shine in that the best that I can. And I become the evidence that I can create my desires. I can set goals and I can achieve them, and that I can create the best human being I possibly can by creating a magnificent life for myself. And at the same time, right, give back in a way by sharing it with whoever wants to come in and join me on that adventure and witness what we can do for ourselves if We want to apply ourselves in that creation of the best life we could possibly can. If we can find it in ourselves to enjoy life for what it is, love life for what it gives, right? And appreciate life sometimes for what it doesn't give. Because you can look around the world at any given time and just be grateful that we have so much, right? We take things so for granted that those small pleasures, right? We don't even notice them, right? Whereas other people would give anything to have, right? My father would have given anything to have another 47 years. My father passed away at 47 years old. But even before he was 20 years old, he had been given a diagnosis that he wasn't going to live for very long. And, right, he decided to experience anything and everything that he possibly could in the short span that he thought he had. He had a lot more time than what he was given to think that he had, right? But by his own choices, he filled up his life with adventures. And because we were his family, right, we were pulled along in that. And so, in my upbringing, right, I also found a passion for life just by watching as a student and a spectator my father's experience and love for life, right? We are the people that we surround ourselves with, but sometimes, right, we don't get to choose. I didn't get to choose to be around my father. But oh my goodness, I'm so glad that I did pay attention, right? That my father's experience was the evidence for me when I woke up to some of these ideas and been able to look back at my life and look back at some of those questions as to why and have them answered. Because I can easily say why I love life so much. It's because I know how precious life is. I know that my father would have given anything to have another 47 years. It wasn't in the cards, right? But what kind of daughter would I be, right? If I wasted my life, wasted my life. And there were a lot of things I wasted my life in, but I don't think I truly wasted my life because wasting my life in those experiences of what I love is what helped to move me move me forward, right? Lots of people don't love their life. Lots of people can't find the beauty or the joy or even the reason for it, right? You're going to wake up tomorrow. I would much rather see a beautiful landscape, have an amazing conversation, right? Right? Stretch my arms out, right? Stretch myself out just a little bit just to see what's just a little bit past where I can see and where I can experience in the moment, right? I love my life. It's not easy. Life isn't easy, right? We are moving forward. We're always changing. We're always doing something new, experiencing something new, right? But I tell ya, I wouldn't want to go back 100 years. I wouldn't go back 1,000. I wouldn't want to go back anywhere. I'm perfectly good right now. But if you asked me 150 years from now, bet you that moment would be the moment that I picked and not this moment, right? It only gets better by the more we revel in it, right? Roll around in these experiences that we have and recognize that, right? If you can smile at something, that's a start, right? Just that smile is a start. What's Melvin saying? You pop up every once in a while, and I very seldom catch you live. Well, it's nice that you catch me live every once in a while, Melvin. It's super sweet that you pop in when you do see me here. I hope your eyesight is doing well. I hope harvest is well underway. I suspect that harvest is underway now, and you are whistling while you work, right? You put that effort in. You put that effort. Like, life isn't easy, but how much fun is it to create, right? I'm creating the best life for myself as I possibly can. It's a lot different than I thought that I would ever experience. It's a lot bigger, a lot different, and a lot more dazzle and amaze than I thought I deserved, in all honesty, right? I love life. I wish my father, right, could have been around. I think he'd be probably pretty proud of where I'm sitting at right now. I bet you would be pretty amazed and surprised, I think, because I'm not sure if my father saw it in me. He saw something in me, but what he saw, I don't think it was this. I don't think it was this 100%. Guys, we are talking about love this week, right? I have had love in my life, but I have also had life or love ripped out of my life, right? And I have had the experience of being loved by those most important people in my life. And I've had the experience of feeling unworthy and unloved by some of those most important people in my life, right? So, love is, I'm not going to say a touchy subject for me, but why don't we call it a triggering subject for me? And I think love for lots of people is a little bit triggering, right? It's that one emotion that those other parts of us are excited to experience in the love, right? Not so much when that love ends, right? Or the little bit of heartbreaks or frustrations that are mixed in with that, but they do, right? We all love that feeling of being in love, and it's happened for me a few times, and whether or not it will happen for me again when it comes in respect to other people, I don't know. But I can tell you one thing: I love life, right? And I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I've had my time in the sun, definitely. And I've had my time in the rain, right? And maybe that's a little bit a part of that uncomfortableness in talking about love. But I suspect sometime this week we might have to touch on that. We'll see. Okay, you guys. That's my good cheer for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, Melvin, for popping into my live. For those of you who pop in later, right? I hope you're having an amazing week. I hope you're making some good choices in this moment. It's a fantastic time to move in choices For sure, I am deep in this planning of this trip that I've got going on for next month, and right, things are moving. Right, I'm having fun doing that. Okay, you guys, talk to you tomorrow.